that willing to?
Isn't that Thursday, yeah?
No, until tomorrow.
Probably the ancient.
Voting in order.
Hope he feels okay still.
Everyone is here, including asking by phone. Start with the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
Second. Motion and a second. Discussion or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And the minutes of the December 16th meeting. Entertain a motion to approve them.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion or questions about the minutes? A motion and second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And the motion of the special meeting December 23rd. Entertain a motion to approve that.
So move.
A motion and second to approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And claims, bills in between, $190,434.86. Entertaining motion to approve the bills in between.
So move. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion or questions on these bills?
One comment, Mr. Mayor, in those bills is the Blue Cross Blue Shield group insurance. And I just want to make note that we have two additions to the fees. And one of them is called impact of health insurer fee that is going on to all of the medical bills. And impact of reinsurer fee is the other one. It's a total of $584.25 for our employee group insurance. And the explanation that's there is the health insurance. The health insurer fee is going to be an annual fee imposed on all insurance companies to help fund reforms made pursuant to the Affordable Care Act. And the second one, called the reinsurance fee, doesn't say it's annual, so I think that's going to be a monthly fee, is a fee imposed under the Affordable Care Act to stabilize premiums for 2014 to 2016. So it looks to me, and this is my observation, that all insurance companies are having to pay to help pay for the free insurance that everybody's getting, or the reduced insurance that everybody else is getting. So just wanted to make note of that.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Any other questions or comments on the bills in between? Got a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Second, here, who seconded? Who moved it? First, thanks.
And the current claims in the amount of $157,526.03. Do I have a motion to approve them?
So move.
Motion by Craig. Second. Second, Lyle. Any questions on the current claims?
I have one, top of page 5 for,
Oh, we're still on current claims. That'll be the next one, right?
No, we're on.
Oh, I got the wrong one.
top of page 5, we're still paying the engineering company at the airport. Don't think we should pay that one.
It's for the environmental work, but the environmental work, we have a new engineer for almost 6 or 8 months, and this is the old engineering firm that was trying to charge us for some environmental work, so I think
At the airport?
we need to take a look into that a little further than that one. So we would be pulling the bill for $4,692.96. We're holding it, anyway.
Sounds good to me.
Do I have any other discussion on the current claims, which that
Now I got one on Hills Material.
Okay, those are the accounts payable 2013 with $174,000. Current claims on page 1 is $157,000. 52603.
This one sheet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Discussion or questions on current claims? Have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Now, on the accounts payable for the 2013 bills in the amount of $174,113.15, and we will be holding one bill for $46.92.96. More discussion on them?
I don't know why we paid Hills Materials so much money when we didn't really do anything. Top page 9, second.
That is 10% of the mobilization, 10% of the incidentals, 15% of the limestone riprap, and 100% of the storm sewer pipe that they installed across the, I guess it'd be Summit Street that they installed that across there off of Almond, 42 foot of 24-inch storm sewer pipe with the flared ends on both sides.
How long is that?
42 feet.
How wide's our road?
It goes at an angle
Well, it's still only 42 feet.
and it goes into one,
I know it goes out in the field.
yeah, and it goes into the edge of the lawn.
Go through that list, you got 100%.
100% of the sewer pipe, 24-inch pipe with the flared ends, 2 flared ends, one on each end. The pipe is $5,040. 2 flared ends is $4,600. And 15% of the limestone riprap, which is $256.50. 10% of mobilization and incidentals.
That'd be storm sewer pipe, not sewer.
All right.
I got a question on page 7, this Carol Boo's attorney legal fees, is any of that for Pro Ready Mix?
Yes, some of it was.
Jake?
I don't remember how much, the rest of it, because part of it was in there. Any other discussion or questions on the accounts payable claims?
You on this Baker Timber Products, how are you paying that before you collect the money?
It's a reimbursable account with FEMA. You have to pay it and then submit for reimbursement.
Where'd you get the money from?
Out of the general fund,
Yes.
out of the street department budget is where it'll come from. And then it'll be reimbursed when we get FEMA reimbursement.
So did you secure that today?
Part of it, they're still needing some additional information that I provided today.
Any other discussion or questions on the accounts payable claims?
Was there a motion in a second?
I thought I had one. I guess
I
I
think Craig made the motion.
We made the motion.
You made the motion?
On the accounts payable.
Oh, that was correct.
Yeah.
You made the motion on the accounts payable? Got a motion by Craig. Do I have a second?
Second?
I'll second.
Second, Tim.
Tim, okay.
Now, is there any more discussion? I'm not here. We will be holding that one bill for the $46.92.96. A motion and a second to approve the accounts payable claims without that one bill. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And communication from the public. Doug? Doug? Okay.
I was wondering if there's any objection to the Bikers Association having their annual 4th of July derby this year.
I got a question. Why did it take you guys so long to pay the outhouses on?
That I can't answer. I don't know.
We're talking like 6 months.
I just took over presidency the 23rd of December.
And you guys donate any of this money to organizations that help you?
Yep. Last year we raised $277 went to the Special Olympics in South Dakota. And a lot of that money was, I think, $3,000 of that went to Toys for Tots this year.
Cool. I have a problem as long as they pay for the outhouses right in up front next year.
Is there a motion to approve that?
Yeah,
Okay. Do I have a second?
but this year. Yes,
Have a second? Second, Dave. Discussion? Got a motion, a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. And other communication from the public?
In keeping with history, I usually bring Kim so you can look at what exactly she didn't come.
I'm a poor excuse.
She's a poor excuse for replacement. I'd like to give you an update on where we are on honoring our heroes real quick, because I like to keep you informed of what's going on. As you know, there'll be a carnival the week before. Then we have the honoring our heroes week, and we're gonna bring them all. It's not gonna be, we're not gonna put the extra things on the end and do the small one, because what we wanna do is extend it one more week to make it a 3-week event. And what we're trying to do is bring in a car show for a couple days, and maybe biker games out there in the park. We're putting together a number of things that bring people in to make that an entire 3-week event for the city. That last week will be dead on Thursday. So it'll be biker, car, etc. oriented, and we'll try to bring the National Guard and reserves in. I thought it was important to come to you, give you an update on where we are. I think we have a good handle on what it's gonna be. It's gonna be not as intense as far as what we need, like it was last year. I'm not bringing any outhouses. So you know. Ain't happening. I was the only one to use them. Yeah. Having said that. But I think we have a really good handle on a solid 3-week event during that period to bring a lot of people to our community. I'm trying to focus on helping publicize Exmo, because I would like to get our county fair publicized and work with them. It's something we're working on, and we'll do that. But I thought it was important to come talk to you, let you know everything is in place, looks good. I will come to you with a more, a written down after action report, exactly what we plan to do in advance. But I think this year will be far better than it was last year if that can be done. So we're gonna work hard on that. So I just wanted to give you that. If any questions you might have of me, I will answer them if you have.
Okay, thank you, Don.
Thanks, Don.
Thank you.
Thank you. More communication from the public. Steve?
A couple of things. At the state home, did the city change their fire ordinance to allow burning in the city limits? Or is it still the same?
We have not changed any ordinance on burning.
Because they had a large brush pile of trees, actually. They burned up there, what, in 3 days? I'm just wondering how that's allowable now. Because when I did the golf course, we had brush piles from the fairways, and the fire department, the city sent them up there to put the brush piles out.
They got a little more stroke than we do. Call the governor and ask him if,
But I mean, that's a city ordinance,
intervene.
isn't it?
we have no ordinance against burning
We don't.
new.
Oh, so we can.
I don't remember, but I thought
All
we had.
all you gotta do is get a permit through the Forest Service.
Right? Yeah, that's outside the city. Now, when I talked to Scott today down at City Hall, he looked it up, said we did.
Legally, we can burn. I mean, that's what we were told, we can legally
The
burn.
city can't bought
Well,
no.
just the city.
Just, I think it's just the city, but I thought contractors, individuals, that they couldn't. That's what I've been told. Because the city come out there and put my brush piles out several years ago, said you absolutely can't burn in the city.
I thought it was by ordinance, I'm not positive.
And then too, that water line that's up there that the city repaired, who installed that?
It happened in '77, so.
It's been quite a while.
You ever install that water line, did you ever go across?
I did not go back that far and find out who that was.
It's like a 3-foot rock on top of the water line.
Yes,
It's a big boy.
it was a biggie.
Welcome to the main water mains in Hot Springs. It ain't just up there that they have. That was put in during the time when they first came out with plastic pipe. And the industry was told that plastic pipe is indestructible. So all the contractors, all the cities, everybody just put it in the ground, and what they dug out of the ground, they put back on it. And now, for the last 20, 30 years, we've been paying for it.
Well, both of those main breaks on Main Street was because of rocks in the pipe.
Right. You'll find the majority of the breaks that the city has on their mains, that's what it is. It's not actually failure of the pipe. It was the standards of which it was put in originally. And that's been my experience with what I've been doing anyway.
So then you'll check in, Don, to see whether we can burn in the city or not?
Yeah. I'll find out, I don't know right now what the ordinance says. Communication with the public.
I just have one other thing. Our speed limit sign has come been working for several weeks, is there a reason?
I brought that to Harley's attention, and he was supposed to bring it to the
Yesterday.
chief's attention, and apparently they don't see those things when they're patrolling.
Yeah, it's been several weeks, they've been working,
All three of them.
all three of them, that's correct.
So none of the sirens work up on them.
The one at the north end of town, I just had the first number lit today for a while, but now it's down.
So
Okay.
the codes will function.
It could be.
But if it's 50 degrees, they should.
Well,
It's a new year, how's the sign?
I haven't seen them, but they were.
No, I didn't either, so that's why I asked you.
They were supposed to be
Talk
delivered
about it.
about a week ago, and I don't know, do you know if the signs are in town yet?
They have not been delivered, no.
Just gotta get them up. There's another year.
Well, and eventually,
Is there a reason why they're not here, or is there a problem?
The last I had heard that they were supposed to be finalized the week before Christmas and shipped.
Where are they coming from?
Rapid City.
no way.
That's a long way.
Well, I'm just saying, if they can charge us for shipping, or can't we go up and get them?
Now, the other part, we can't pour concrete to put them up yet anyway with the weather like it is.
You can't. They're pouring every day over tops of them.
Pay extra for the cold.
It'll be almost 50 the rest of the week.
It's true.
I don't wanna feel that.
Shortly, this year.
I'll get you an answer, Ryan, on those signs,
Okay.
because they told me about them yesterday, and didn't get a chance to check into that yet.
Any other communication from the public?
Yeah, I got something, you know, going through some of these ordinances, some of them are kind of outdated. You know, we tout ourselves as the gateway to the Black Hills and fun. We've got Angostura here, we've got the hills. Some of these ordinances are just, they're kind of outdated. Most people don't know, for example, this trailer ordinance, you can't have more than two, is that right, Harley?
In a residential
In
area.
a residential area, so if you own a camper and a boat and a motorcycle trailer, you're in violation. But to me, that's ludicrous. I mean, if someone has a boat and a wave runner and a motorcycle and a car trailer, man, they're a serious offender. I mean, to me, that's ludicrous. Some of that stuff just, it don't make sense. You want to tout yourself as the gateway to recreation. How are you going to talk someone into moving here if they got, I guess what's the next step? Are you going to make them rent storage somewhere to park this stuff, or? So I'm kind of thinking I'm going to look at that ordinance.
Yep, that's our reason as a city council is to change ordinances when they need to be changed. Keep them updated. Okay. Thanks, Wes. Any other communication from the public? Resolutions. The first resolution, number 1, 2014-01, is the salary resolution. This is dated January the 6th, is the date of the resolution. If we do it effective the first of the year, then we will have to have 3 days of pay at these rates on the last payday. If we start this effective the 4th of December, And she will, it'll be the
January.
beginning of the, January, it'll be the beginning of the February first. It's been a long day. If the council wants, you can do it effective January 1, that's not a problem, that's what we've done a lot of years. If you do it effective January the 4th, it'll be the start of the pay period, it'll be easier for them.
I make a motion, we do it on the 4th.
That's a motion,
Yeah.
start on the
I'll
4th, and second by Wes. Discussion or questions? Got a motion to second to approve the salary resolution, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And the next resolution is the designation of depositors and official newspapers. It sets the banks here in town and the Hot Spring Star as an official newspaper. Do I have a motion to approve by Georgia?
Second.
Second by Dave. Discussion or questions? Have a motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Next resolution is for the Angostura Irrigation District, it's a water service contract. If there's water this year, which most years there is, it would be paid for by whoever is using the water later in the year. This is something we do every year. Do I have a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
When does it have to be,
By Carl, second by Craig. Discussion or questions?
when does it have to be paid by?
I think it's about May.
I think the bills come out in May and it's due by June 1st is when
And if we don't use water, we get the money back?
No.
Yeah, we
they,
don't-
they usually let us know if we're gonna use water or not by that time.
Now the dam.
My question is, if this advisory board decides to put this out for lease and stuff, should we wait to pay this, or go ahead and pay it and just put that in the lease?
We don't pay it until June, so we can do whatever with the lease. We'll know what we'll be doing by then, so we'll know what the amount will be.
Okay.
What I've been told before, it has to be in the name of the landowner. If there's a lease, that's a separate deal.
Okay.
Any other discussion or questions? Got a motion and a second to approve, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And the resolution 2014-04 is the resolution that the bonding company has put together because of the Evans Bunch purchase. It's like about 10 or 6 or 8 pages long. Do I have a motion to approve that resolution?
So moved.
Motion by Georgia, second Carl. Discussion or questions?
Does it cost us anything?
No. Any other discussion or questions? Got a motion and a second to approve the resolution. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And personnel, you can see the changes effective first and on the 7th on your agenda. Old business, we put off the golf course master plan, was ready with Norby, with Rupert Norby. We wanted Jason to come in and talk to us a little bit. So Jason, I'll hand it over to you to explain a bit about what you want and what this is.
Thanks, Todd. Well, I had a chance to talk to everyone on the phone about this, answer the questions. If you guys still have questions, I'll be happy to answer what I know. But it kind of seems to me like the underlying concern might be that in the long run, is this worth it? And I think that's a legitimate concern, and I think that's the reason why I waited this long to really present it, is because I've also been concerned about that. A $20,000 price tag is a pretty steep price tag for some of this stuff. But I think when you look at it in the long run, I think that it is going to be beneficial. And I think it answers a lot of questions at this point that we're trying to figure out with this long-range plan. If you guys remember the pamphlet that I gave you a couple of weeks ago, just breaking down the cost of it, the preliminary plan itself runs about $13,000. That's $13,200. There's an additional cost of travel, which could be a maximum of $2,000, a little over $2,000. It's $2,200. If we choose to do the the additional services, which would be the market analysis, it would be an additional $4,500. All this money would be coming out of my operational budget at the golf course, so nothing would be additional. That I'm not asking for $20,000 extra dollars or anything. It would come out of the operational budget. It's billed, it'd probably be, I'm guessing, maybe over a 2-year span. So it wouldn't be all out of 2014 unless we wanted it to be. But I think the questions that I really think it's going to answer is when we start looking at irrigation systems, it's going to answer questions like, do we want to stay on city water? Do we want to drill a well? Do we want to put a pond in for irrigation? It's going to look at our trees, which trees to remove, which bunkers to remove or to add. Basically, essentially, what it does is it creates a long-range plan that allows us to increase our revenue and avoid any unnecessary expense. The plan probably is going to last somewhere around 10 to 15 years, but it kind of gets a blueprint from what we're going to do in the future and what our management strategy is. If you guys have any questions?
In doing this, will that help you at all as far as the irrigation system?
What this guy does is he's going to talk to a lot of different people to see what really our needs are. Do we need to irrigate rough? He's going to look at how much rough do we need to irrigate. He's going to look at tee box locations. Do we need to add a new tee box? And if we don't go this route, I think that in the future, if we do add a tee box, then we're going to have to pipe in irrigation to that, and that's where I think the cost, where we could save. That's the stuff that I'm trying to avoid in the future. This guy has the ability to look at trends of golf, also. He's going to look at what is it going to take to bring people to Hot Springs, whether it's somebody from Rapid City, or if it's somebody from the East River, or if it's somebody from Wyoming or Colorado. There's a lot of different things he does. He also looks at, he can bring in that third-party market analysis and kind of decide what is our competitive rate that we should charge, not only memberships, but our green fees, and see if we can't generate more revenue. What's fair? What are people willing to pay for this course? I think that if we want to be competitive with the area courses up in Rapid City, then we kind of have to start moving forward and kind of improving some areas. And the real question is, what areas do we need to spend our money on? This is where I feel confident. And it's not just this guy, it's just a long-range plan in general. So if you guys want to get different guys in here, get different quotes from other people, see what the rate is for a long-range plan, or else get consultant agencies.
Has there ever been a long-term plan done for this course?
This course, not that I'm aware of.
You can give up your vacations in the summertime to the...
This year I am.
Oh, yeah?
This year I am.
I'll go for it then.
My vacations.
It's not gonna be any worse than what we paid for the estimate on the plunger.
Engineering fee?
The estimate.
Yeah, I also want to say that this is, if we get this in here, the council's definitely, as well as the public, both golfers and non-golfers, are going to be involved. This guy comes in and has an open house, presents all the ideas from a preliminary plan before a final plan is made. We can go, taking in consideration, of course, the cost of all the different ideas. So just because we see, a plan being made doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be big dollar items. It might just be simple tree removal, or else adding trees in certain areas, turning areas into native areas as opposed to mowing them constantly, stuff like that. So, but it definitely affects the game of golf and whether or not a person's going to have an enjoyable experience.
Jason, I have a question.
Yes.
A market analysis and advertising makes sense. But as far as bringing in an architect or somebody to come up with different designs, a dealt with a lot of them in the construction of it, and they're all good, but one will tell you to put the tee box over here and probably, and he'll swear by it. The next one, he'll do it clear over on the other side, and he'll swear by it. And I guess they both could be right, but what I'm saying, I'm not so certain that those dollars spent changing things around and a wise thing. As far as moving a tree, I don't know. You need to hire somebody.
I think realistically, I think the big thing that I'm looking at is the help in the irrigation area. How much irrigation do we need? Where we can put it, where we can add it. When he did see the front 9, of course, he immediately saw locations of tee boxes that could help the female golfers, the ladies, because it's disproportionate to where the men's tees are. That sort of stuff he can bring in there. But I think from the irrigation standpoint, when we're talking about even just a front 9 irrigation, we're talking at least $500,000. And this guy, I think he's going to sit there and say, you know what, maybe this technology with your situation, listening to everyone in this community, is not really worth spending that $50,000 on that type of system, opposed to getting some weather station attachment and all that.
So one suggestion I would make, and I have different architects say this too, on all those tee boxes on the back 9, there's rock walls elevated in most areas, and in the past, I don't know, to conserve water, you quit mowing those.
Sure.
Now you covered up the rock wall, and I've heard a lot of comments by the golfers, why did you do that? Now you can't see the beauty of it.
Sure.
So I don't know the answer is to water less and to cut less, because now you're working against yourself. I mean, it seems like you want that look.
Sure. Well, you know, you're really trying to figure out, and it's a fine line between having a pretty course, but at the same time making it efficient, because our biggest line item is wages and salaries. When we start, those rock walls require a lot of string trimming, it's a different type of mower that we have to use, and so that requires an X amount of time and a guy that we have to set out there. So when we do a yearly budget, we're counting all of our pennies in that area and how much we're spending. And if that doesn't affect the game of golf where we think it should, then we're going to cut corners in those areas and focus maybe more on the greens, the fairways, and all that stuff.
What percentage of golfers do you think come because, I hear it, because it's nice, it looks great, it's in the hills, it's beautiful, the golf course. How many of them do you think actually come to be competitive golf rather than just to experience the golf course?
Well, I think they come here to experience the golf course is the reason why they come here.
So why not keep it, I mean, to me, you could add customers by doing that little bit of trimming.
But is the public going to allow us to charge more for green fees, maybe increase the rates for that?
I'm not certain you have to do that, because if you add play, that'll offset that.
Can you prove to me that'll add play?
I would think it would.
But see, there's the thing, is that's why I'm calling on this guy to see if it will or not, because we can think about a lot of things, but is it gonna do it? And that's the answers that I'm looking at. Because guys come to me all the time with ideas. I mean, lowering rates. Well, then I got another person yelling at me for lowering rates because now we're losing money. So, I mean, that's the sort of information that I think this person can bring you with the market analysis especially.
On the golf packages that we do, I listen to a lot of the people that come in, and that's where I'm getting a lot of this information. And what I'm gathering is more of those people would like to see the golf course trimmed better. Will I bring them back another time or two? Maybe. I'm just saying, I don't know that you're not spending that little bit is helping you.
Well, you know, there's a lot of reasons why. I mean, this is kind of getting off subject here. You know, the golf course last year, we're not set up for that amount of rainfall to keep up on the grass. You know, when we let the grass go from 2 inches to 2.5 inches, a golfer's going to know that. They're going to play. They're going to know that by hitting the ball. To kind of, I guess, deal with that, we have to get another mower that's X amount of dollars. I got to either ask the council for $40,000 extra for a new mower to keep up with it, or else we just have to cut back a little bit on grass. And because, I mean, we've got it down to we're short personnel every single year to find quality people to come in to the golf course to work. A lot of times I have to do a lot of it on my spare time or after hours because the guys back stuff. So there's a lot of reasons. I mean, it's different for each golfer. Some people, they sit there and they say that, you know, the course is great, we love it like this, and it's not, certainly not that.
I guess what my question is, okay, if right now you're telling me that the problem is lack of labor to maintain what we got, but then at the same time you want to do an analysis, hopefully to increase play, so I'm not so certain. I mean, you want more players, but you can't keep up.
Well, we have a fixed cost to just mow, so it doesn't matter how much. So I mean, it depends, you know. I mean, if we could, you know, if I could have a formal, this person could maybe even do a formal survey of what the customers really want. I mean, do we spend our money on grooming, if that's what they really want, or is it something like more rock walls or landscaping flowers?
I mean, with the customers you have, I mean, could you not, I mean, would they fill out a questionnaire? Could you not do a survey on your own that's probably pretty accurate on what the golfer is looking for?
When do I have time to do that? That's the thing. That's why I'm calling. I mean, I'd love to do everything this guy has on his plan, but it's just, once March hits around, I'm making sure the crew's trained, that they're doing, you know, that are showing up on time, everything from operating their equipment efficiently when they're not wasting time, getting on, you know, getting ahead of golf, making sure the tee times are you know, delayed enough so it's not a frost delay if it has, you know, that.
Another suggestion is too, that billboard that's up there on the truck bypass that has that, I mean, you can't even read it, it's so faded. One suggestion, maybe a new billboard for $500 might do you a lot of good.
And you know, this is the perfect example why I like to bring this guy in, because he listens to Steve, he listens to suggestions of not only what he has, but everyone else. I mean, I've been told the billboards is a great idea, but I've also been told that billboards aren't a good idea because you have clubs that you have to bring with you, and if people don't bring clubs down to Hot Springs, chances are they're not gonna, the billboards are. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. So
trouble with the clubs, though.
I guess what I'm looking for, I want him to tell us, are we spending too much money?
Absolutely.
For a town our size, I've checked other towns. There ain't many towns that budget this amount of money for a golf course.
That's a good question.
I mean,
but we also have an exceptional golf course compared to some towns.
I'd like to make a motion that we move forward with having the study.
I'll second that.
Got a motion, a second, we go forward with both parts, will be the long-range plan and also the market analysis.
And I think that would give us some of the answers that we really need to have.
Have discussion?
Total of 20?
The cost right here, the way I add it up is
It's 11,500 for the master plan and 4,500 for the market analysis.
plus we have travel expenses that are $2,200, and then we do have to provide like an aerial topographic maps of the course and all that stuff, which we do have, but there is a digital cost that's associated.
I talked with you, Jason, and I was concerned because we put so much money in the golf course right now, it's in the building, and we have buildings to tear down, and what with the issue we've had with our input from the plunge, and I was concerned. I felt like we put a lot of money into these type of consultants. And I did ask you what you thought about even if we waited a year. Is that something that would be workable to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think if that's the decision that you guys would like, I mean, we can certainly do that. I mean, I'm presenting this to you as an option for the golf course. So if you guys would like to wait a year, you certainly can.
well, you got a motion on the floor, so.
Motion on the floor, any more discussion?
I have one question. If, say, I'll go along with the motion as made. I got a question. Say we come back and, you know, 6 months or 8 months, decide we wanna tap in one of these, 2 or 3 of these other things and other services, or can we do that, or is this you buy it all, or?
No, the way I understand it is those things, those additional services we can add. If we get to the preliminary plan, or he charges us for the preliminary plan of $4,500, if we decide we don't like what he's doing after the preliminary plan, we're only responsible for $4,500. And then we don't have to go to the final plan, which is the additional. That's what I understand.
This information to me would be really important when it comes to budget time. Because if we get this early enough, we can take a really good look at it. And like you say, if we don't like what we see in the beginning, we can cut it off then. But come budget time, having all this information helps us to make a good decision for where we're going to spend our money in the coming year.
I agree.
And if we think that we need to scale back and do smaller projects the first couple of years, then we do so. Trying to add for the bigger project.
We have a motion and a second to approve those 2 parts of the plan. Any more discussion or questions?
Yeah. What do we know of the history of this guy? I mean, have you checked any
Yeah.
references? Have you?
I've seen a couple of his different topographic maps that he's done, his different master plans for other courses. He's done one in Durango. There's a public course in Durango, Colorado. He's out of Chaska, Minnesota, so there's a lot in the Midwest, Iowa. There's a couple of them I've seen there. I've talked to, briefly I heard a presentation from a superintendent in Aberdeen, I believe, somewhere up East River, that used him, and he spoke really highly of him. I haven't really looked at too many other people that does what he has done. So I've looked at irrigation designers and consultants and stuff like that.
So he's used to working in the weather conditions that we have here also.
I would hope so, yeah. I mean, I think that's one of those things that we would definitely explore. What they usually do is they look at the 30-year history.
From where he's based out of.
Yeah.
Got a motion and a second to approve the study. Any other discussion or questions?
I got one.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Do we own this study when it's done?
Yes.
Because I thought it there said they own it too.
I think
I
they
didn't
do
bring
own it
that
too,
with me
yeah.
tonight. I apologize. Out of my desk.
Yeah, we would own the topographic maps, the detailed construction plans when it's done.
Irrigation and
Yep,
everything.
yep.
Well.
I think he would own it as well, so he kind
Yeah.
of.
They cover themselves usually by the designs, because if they ever reuse the same portion of that design in another area, they're not infringing on something that we purchased. So it is both investor and designer that will be owning.
Does his company do the installation, or is he strictly
He's strictly an architect.
advisor?
I asked one more question, so I think when we were talking about the program, the computer program for,
The website.
yeah, for the or to do the website for planning golf, or what do you call that? Anyway, and that, how far are you on that, or about?
Right now, we're having the tea time request, or the company that's doing the tea time program is called Full Reservations. They're actually designing our website. It's part of the package deal. Right now, I don't know what the tea time side of things look like, but the website, I've just given them the information over the holidays. And I suspect I'll probably hear something back from them, from a preliminary website design within this month.
So if any of that, is that involved with his
That-
bids, or?
Yeah, when he toured the course, he saw or realized that we didn't have any of that technology, and he quickly suggested that that's something that would be high on the priority list. So, I mean, but we had already got the ball rolling on that, so this is not part of the architect.
motion and second to approve. Any other questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no?
No.
John,
Yes.
I'm gonna be leaving after the new business.
Okay. All right. New business, we need to set a bid opening date, February the 12th, at 3 p.m. for a Freedom Trail South expansion. Would be out here for the Mueller Center South to the bypass. Have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Craig. Second Dwight. Discussion or questions?
When are they gonna start on that once we open it? No?
I'm not sure what he put in specs for a notice to proceed.
So which way they're gonna go on which side of the river you're gonna do the, walk?
You'll go to Big Bats.
So it's gonna be on the east side?
East side of the river.
East side of the river.
East side of the river.
And it'll go to the Big Bass parking lot.
Big Bad Park. Are you gonna go more, what's gonna be east or south or there's gonna be it?
In the future, we'll go further.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How far?
As soon as people
Just
just
for
have
us?
to walk under the bridge, we'll take it under the bridge to the
Oh.
park. We'd like it if we could get to the other side of the bypass. We don't know how we're gonna do that right now. No plans to go further at this point. Be nice. Any more discussion? I have a motion and a second to set the bid opening date. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And the 2014 municipal election date, Harley, we need a motion in this meeting to set it.
Have to decide by the first regular meeting in January if you're going to do a date other than the normal municipal date in April. So we've traditionally done it with the county in June, together with the school who does theirs in June. The normal municipal election date is in April, and if you take a different date, as I said, South Dakota State Law 9-13-1 says that cities must formally pick a different date if you're not going to do your election in April.
I think we ought to do it the same time the county and school do.
I'd second that.
So got a motion and a second to do it June election.
It does take money to.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
The other one.
Does it save money to do it in June?
We've been paying $3,000 to the county under contract when we jointly do one with the county. Our election for the Evans Plunge cost us $3,000, so I don't know if it saves us any money necessarily or not. It's about a break even.
Why does it cost us $3,000 if we share with the county and the school?
Because the county contract says we will pay $3,000 to do elections.
I still think we have to do it in June and talk to the county and say, right.
That understood, I still think by putting them together, you might get a better participation with the community. That in itself, I think, is worth quite a bit.
Well, people are used to that date.
Yep. Got a motion and a second to go with the June election. Any more discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Committee reports. Carl, did you have anything before you leave?
No, I don't have anything with me. If my partner there does, we can spray it for you. I don't remember having it.
No, we'll have one, we're supposed to have one Wednesday. And the only thing is we had a few issues on wages that we'll probably
And that was going to be discussed at the next meeting.
Right.
Okay. Thanks, Carl.
All right.
Public Works, Dwight.
We didn't have a meeting this time around. It was on New Year's Eve, so next meeting will be next Tuesday at 2 o'clock, City Hall.
Okay. And Public Safety, Craig, did you have anything?
No, our next meeting will be next Monday, 9 o'clock, City Hall.
Okay. Wes?
Nope.
Same answer.
Ours will be Wednesday, City Hall.
Okay.
Next Wednesday, right?
Yep, next Wednesday. 5:15, I believe, is what we're doing, wasn't it?
Okay, Harley, did you have anything?
Just a couple things, having some issues with the heat compressors, two-stage compressors here on the heating system are giving out. We have 2 of them out right now. We're gonna have to be looking at some major expense, and by that, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, not sure. Chris is currently working on figuring out where we can get the best price for what we need to do.
Is that each or for both?
Pardon me?
Is that price each or for both?
That should be both. He's still working on numbers, so I might say that with a little bit of reservation, but we need to be around $8,000 to, is what we hope to be on that one. Secondly, I want to just inform the council that the Municipal Government Day at the Legislature for 2014 is Wednesday, February 5th. If anyone's interested in attending that, you can let me know. Cost is $20 to attend that process. We usually get, the Municipal League provides an update on where the legislature is at that time, what bills are working and what ones aren't, and just a gathering of all of the municipal organizations that want to be there and meet with the legislature. So just informational there. That's everything I have.
Okay, thanks, and I don't have anything this evening. So the only thing that's left is executive session, anyone for legal matters? Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Greg, second Tim, go to executive session for legal. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Thank you, we'll take like a 5-minute break real quick.
See you.